Hello students, welcome back. Today I am Radha from DPS Haldwani Lamachor going to start another topic of the same chapter, that was the structural organization in animals. So students, in this chapter, in the last session we have done about the introduction, about the definition of tissue and what are the different types of tissue found in the animals, or we can say in human being. So we have discussed all about it, and out of them we have covered epithelial tissue, then we have done connective tissue, and today we will do the third tissue, that is the muscular tissue. Okay, so the name itself indicates muscular, means that something related to the muscles. So these muscles are also a tissue. It means that it formed by the group of cells. So what are these cells, or what are the group of cells which is forming this muscular tissue? Okay, so if you will talk about this muscular tissue, the structure is elongated. Okay, the structure is elongated, as well as these are the contractile cell. What is the meaning of this contractile? It means that it is having tendency to contract it. Okay, the contraction and relaxation of our muscles, it is done by what? It is done by the muscle tissue or by the muscles cells. So here we have written that these are the elongated one, as well as they are the contractile cells, which is known as the muscle cells. Okay, so the muscle tissue is formed by what type of cells? Muscle cells, which is also known as the myocyte. So you must know or memorize these terms. What are they? If I will ask you muscle cells, you will understand very easily. But what about the myocyte? It is nothing. It is just same muscle. You can say muscle cells or the myocytes. Right here. Now, if you will talk about some more structure of the muscles tissue or the muscle cells, we said it is made up of cells. Okay, this is a tissue. So it is made up of cells, and here each muscle cells is made up of what? It is made up of the long and cylindrical fibers. Okay, for example, these are the fibers. Okay, so when these long and thin fibers will get aggregated, okay, when they will get aggregated, what they will form? They will form some thick structure. Okay, what it will form? It will form the thick structure, that is what we will call it we will call it myofibrils. Why? Because here these are very fine fibers, and it will form the another structure, that is the myofibrils. Right here. So same thing we have written here, that these are the long and cylindrical fibers which are arranged. How? They are arranged parallelly. When they will get accumulated, they will form some thick structure, which is known as what? Which is known as some myofibrils. Myo means related to muscles, and the fibrils means related to the fiber like structure. Okay, so combination of this, it will form the myofibrils. Right here. And each of the muscle cell, if you will talk about the cells, any of the cell, okay, now if you are talking about the muscle cell, so this muscle cell is again covered by some sheath like structure. Okay, the membranous sheath is covering these muscle cell. So now what you will call this membrane? Okay, in general cell, if any of the membrane is covering the cell, we are saying it is a plasma membrane. But here the membrane which is covering the cell, okay, the membrane which is covering the cell, it is known as what? Sarcoplasm. Okay, or a sarcoplasma. So sarcoplasma is nothing, it's just like a plasma membrane. But if you are talking about the muscle cell, the plasma membrane is known as sarcoplasm. Right? And if it is a cell, okay, if it is a cell, obviously it is having some cytoplasm also. It is having some cytoplasm also. So the cytoplasm of the muscle cells, what you will call? Sarcoplasm. Okay, what you will call? Sarcoplasm. And the membrane which is outside it, it is known as sarcoplasma. Right? And again it is having some endoplasmic reticulum. In general cell we know that they are having some endoplasmic reticulum, but in the muscle cell the endoplasmic reticulum, it is known as sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, it means that we are using what sarco in everything, whether it is a cytoplasm or the plasma membrane, okay, or maybe the endoplasmic reticulum, because here what is that sarcoplasm? Sarcoplasm is just related to the muscle cells. Okay, now these cells again having some striation. Okay, these muscle cells having some striation, which we will study in different types of muscles. Okay, so on the basis of this striation or non-striation, okay, on the basis of the striation is present or absent, we have categorized into three parts. Okay, so on the different basis we are having different types of muscles right here, and we have still here we have completed the introductory part. What is the general feature of the muscles, and if we'll talk about the function of the muscles, that for the locomotion and the movement, or sometimes we can say for the contraction and the relaxation of the body movements right here. So now on the basis of different characteristics, we are having three types of muscles. How many types of muscles? Three types of muscles. That is, first one skeletal muscle, second one is the smooth muscle, and third one is the cardiac muscle. Okay, so first of all we will take the first point. The first point is that these skeletal muscles, where it is located, okay, where you can find the skeletal muscle, the name itself indicates the skeleton. Okay, our skeleton system, okay, is covered by this muscles, and if it will be covered by this muscles, what it will help? It will help our skeleton, or it will help our bone to contract or to move. Okay, for example you can take the biceps. Okay, the biceps you are doing like this. What is happening there? These bones are attached with the skeletal muscles. Okay, what you will call your biceps bones are the connected with this skeletal muscles, which is providing some contraction as well as relaxation right here. So we can see the first point where it is present. It is present in all over the body and mostly in the limbs, and it is attaching the skeletal bones right here. Now another point, it is known as striated stripes. Okay, striated or the striped muscle. Why we are saying striated and striped muscles? If you will draw the diagram of this one, okay, if you will draw this diagram, so what you can see that these are having some striation. What it is having? It is having some striation or some band like structure. Okay, these band are having two types, thin band as well as thick band. What are they? Thin band and the thick band. And here the nucleus are also located. What are they? Nucleus are also located, and the nucleus which is located in skeletal muscles, they are peripheral in nature. Okay, they are peripheral in nature, and the striation having light bands and the dark bands. This light and dark bands is what? The lighter one is the actin and the darker one is the myosin. Okay, so thick and thin band having actin and myosin, and due to this overlapping of this actin and myosin, what happens? There is a contractions of muscles. Right? So what you have to understand here, that if you will talk about the structure of this skeletal muscle, these are the long, okay, and narrow, and it's just like a cylindrical body, but they are not branched. They are connected with each other with the help of junctions. Okay, we have covered the junctions, how they are transferring one thing from another one. So the outer part of the cell, what you will call it? It is a sarcoplasma membrane. Okay, and the cytoplasm which is present inside this one, it is known as what? It is known as sarcoplasm, and the endoplasmic reticulum which is present here, sarcoplasmic reticulum right here. So we have done, it is a long, narrow and cylindrical, as well as they are not branched, so we can say these are the unbranched. right? And you can see different nucleus are present here. Okay, many nucleus are present, so you can say that it is a multinucleated. What it is? Multinucleated. Now, on the basis of their functions of the skeletal muscles, we are saying that it is having voluntary action. Okay, the action is like voluntary. Now, what is the meaning of this voluntary action? That whatever the movement is occurring in our body, it is happening through our will. Okay, because we need to move our hands, that's why it is moving, right? So what type of action it is? Voluntary action. Those actions which takes place by our will, these are known as voluntary action, right? So these are some of the characteristics of the skeletal muscles. Okay, some more information we will come to know in that chapter. Okay, in the last chapters, in which we will only and only will study about the chapter in skeletal system, right? So for here, that much is there. Now come to the second one, the smooth muscles. See, this smooth muscle is also known as visceral. Okay, visceral means that it is present where? It is present some internal parts like in our stomach, in our intestine and the blood vessels. So the walls of these part of these organs, it is made up of what type of muscle? Smooth muscles. Okay, so these smooth muscles are having some different structure. If you will see these structure here, so these are just like a fusiform, or we can say spindle shaped. What it is? Spindle shaped of diagram. Okay, so these are what? These are the smooth muscles, and they are having their nucleus at the center. Okay, and you can see here the nucleus, only one nucleus is present, so it is a uninucleated. Okay, so the second point, it is a non-striated. You cannot see any striation or any band in case of smooth muscle. So we can say these are the non-striated. As well as if we will talk about the structure, they are also long and narrow, but the specific structure what they are following, it is a spindle shaped. It means that they are having the tapering ends from both the sides. Okay, so from both the ends there is a tapering end, and in here taper at the both end, and if only one nucleus is present, it is a uninucleated. And the last point is very very important, that is they are the involuntary muscles. Okay, it means that their action is involuntary and it is not under our control, or it is not under our wish. We cannot wish to move of our stomach or the intestine or the blood vessels. Okay, whatever is happening in our body, it is happening by the self. Okay, as well as we can relate the example of peristaltic movement. We know that the peristaltic movement in our esophagus, okay, the peristaltic movement takes place in our esophagus as well as in our intestine, or the contraction or relaxation of the urinary bladder. So all these are the example of what? Smooth muscle, in which we are not having our control. Everything, it is happening by its own. Right here, so we can say it is a involuntary muscle. Now come to the third one, that is the cardiac muscle. So this muscle is what? This is a contractile muscle. Okay, which is having the tendency to contract, right? And specifically these are present in the heart, or sometimes we can say the larger veins which is going towards the heart. Okay, you can see these muscles only and only in heart, that's why it is known as cardiac muscle, right? Now if we will talk about the striation, some striation you can see there, as well as if we will talk about the structure. Okay, if we will talk about the structure of these cardiac muscles, you can see that, what you can see that? You can see that they are having some branch like structure. What they are having? They are having some branch like structure, and they are what? They are having nucleus. Okay, they are having nucleus at the center. Okay, while in case of the first one, it was in peripheral, and yes, only one nucleus is there, so we can say these are the uninucleated, and they are following the branching of these cells, so they are the branched one, right? So on the basis of these characters we have categorized this one, and there may be some similarity between these two or between these three, or there may be some dissimilarity also. So we must know that what is the similarity between any of the two and what is the dissimilarity between any of the two. And the last one is the involuntary. Involuntary means that which is not in under our control. So if heart is beating, okay, if any action is happening in our heart due to the contraction, so it's not in under our control, so we can say that it is also have following the involuntary action. So here we have completed about the muscular tissue. So now the fourth tissue, okay. So till here we have completed epithelial, connective tissue, then we have done muscular tissue. Now the fourth one which we have to discuss it here, neural tissue. Okay, so neural relates to what? Those tissue which is present in the nerve cells, right? So here we are talking about the nerve cell, and if you will say about the function of this one, what it is doing, it is controlling the body actions. How it is controlling? After getting the response from the CNS. Okay, so we can say that what it is doing, it is performing its action or responsiveness to the changing environment as it is getting some information. So it is controlling the responsiveness of a person. Okay, and one more important thing which we have discussed earlier also, that from where these type of tissues are originating. We know that the tissues can be originated with the from the ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, right? We have done this thing. If you will talk about the previous one which we have covered right now, that is the muscular tissue, so we can say that it is mesodermally. Why? Because whether it is a connective tissue or the muscular tissue, both derives from the mesoderm. Okay, and one of the example you can relate it here, that heart is mesodermally originated, and heart is having what type of muscle? Heart is having the cardiac muscle. Okay, so we can say that the muscular tissue originated from the mesodermal, or here if we talk about the neural tissue, so neural tissue is originated from the ectoderm. Right here, these questions are very important from the point of MCQ. So make sure that you must know all these types of answers, right? Now, what is the role of this nerve tissue or the neural tissue? So these are tissues are having some cells, and what they are doing, they are receiving that particular stimulus and transferring, okay, and transferring or conducting those information in form of impulses for controlling and coordinating of our body function. So whatever the body is coordinating or controlling, it is done by only and only of the neural tissue. Okay, so you must know that what are the different components of these tissue here. So we can say that these tissues are composed of two things. What are they? Nerve cells and the packaging cell. So we can say it is a combination of nerve cells plus packaging cells. Okay, so this is the accumulation of nerve cells and packaging cells. And nerve cells, we know that different types of neurons, okay, or the nerve, these are the nerve cells. And what are these packaging cells then? These packaging cells are nothing, these are the Schwann cells. Okay, these are the Schwann cells, and we can say the neuroglia cells. Neuroglia cells, same thing I have written here. These two are forming the packaging cell. It means that they help the nerve cells to remain attached with each other. Okay, glia relates to what? Something related to the glue-like structure. So these cells will help them, these nerve cells, to remain together. Okay, and after having this, they are forming the nerve tissue, and ultimately these are helping for the control and the coordination of the body movements. So we must know that what is it? It is a combination of nerve cells as well as the packaging cells. Sometimes you can see that only nerve cells plus neuroglia cell is given there. Okay, so we must know that these are the packaging cells, right? And these cells is present in the PNS. PNS is what? Peripheral nervous system. And what is CNS? Central nervous system. Okay, if you will talk about any human being, so what is central nervous system? Those nerves which is arising from head to the toe. Okay, it is known as central because it is located centrally. And those which are present from the outerwards, those which is moving towards outerwards, these are what? These are the peripheral one. Peripheral means that towards the outer side. So these are the peripheral nervous system which is moving outward, and these which are moving towards the center, it is known as central nervous system. So by the combination of these two, we are getting the nerve cells here, right? So neuroglial cells, what they are doing, they are protecting the neurons. Okay, they are protecting the neurons because this neuron is what? Neuron is the functional unit of the neural system. Okay, what it is? Neuron. And we must aware about this neuron diagram also. Okay, if you have gone through the diagram of neuron, we know that it is having different parts. Okay, and each parts having different functions. So how they are doing, how they are conducting the impulse from one of the neuron to the another neuron, like this there will be another neuron. Okay, so what type of rays will be there? The relay rays. Okay, so as the information is conducting from this neuron, so it will be catch up by the another neuron. So that's why we are saying these neurons are the functional unit of the neural system, right here. So in very short, we will understand that what is the structure of this one, and in detail we will discuss in the last of the chapters. Okay, because whole chapter will study about the each and every step. So if you will see about the structure of the neurons, it is known as what? The first part is cyton. Okay, cyton is what? It is having some cytoplasm here, right? So what is there? Cytoplasm is present, and here nucleus is there, and these are what? These are the dendrites. These, what is the function of these dendrites? To capture the information. Okay, so to capture the information. And here see, if as there will be another neuron, so what they are doing, they are taking the information from one neuron to another neuron, right? So these are the dendrite, and this is a cell body, we are saying cyton also, right? And this is the whole is this passage, it is known as axon. What it is? Axon, right? And axon is connected with the last one, that is the nerve endings, right? What is the? These are the nerve endings at the end, these are present. And what are they? They are the synaptic knobs. These are helpful for connecting or making the synapse with the other neuron. That's why we are saying synaptic knobs, right? So like this we will understand that how the impulse is conducting from one neuron to another neuron, as they are passing those thing towards the nerve ending, and like this it will pass to the another neuron. Now the question arises that we have drawn these structure. What are these things? Okay, these are the insulating pads, which is known as what? Myelinated sheath. What it is? Myelinated sheath, in which we are having the Schwann cells. What is there? Schwann cells are present. So now what is the function of these myelinated sheath? As we are saying that impulse is moving through these neuron, so what will happen? There may be some transmission. Okay, there may be some shock will be there in while passing these impulse. So these myelinated sheath act as a insulator. Okay, likewise if you're touching some hot objects, so if there will be some insulator, what will happen? You will be able to grip that particular hot object very easily. Like we are using the pan. If pan having some insulation, so we can take this pan from our hand. Otherwise, we cannot touch the hot pan. So these myelinated sheath is what will act as a It will work as a insulator which will help as a shock absorbance. Right here, and the spaces which is present between these myelinated sheath, it is known as node of Ranvier. Okay, so sometimes this myelinated sheath can be present and sometimes it can be absent. So if these myelinated sheath is present, we will call it myelinated axon. If it is a non-myelinated, we will say that the non-myelinated. Right? And the question arises that which of the one will be faster, myelinated or the non-myelinated? The myelinated one. Why? Because in case of myelinated sheath, how the impulse will generate? It will skip from here to here, from these gap to this gap. So what will happen? It will cover the distance in a short period of time. Okay, so these are the fast impulse. Or if we'll talk about the non-myelinated, so it has to cover each and every distance, so it will take more time, right? So these myelinated sheath are having the faster one as compared to the non-myelinated sheath, right? So these are the some of the characteristics of the neural tissue, okay, which are helpful for the coordination of our body. So here we have completed our animal tissue. Okay, when these tissue will combine together, okay, when these tissue will combine together, what they will form? They will form the organ. Okay, what they will form? They will form the organ. And when so many organs will collect together, what they will form? A organ system. And these organ system, when they will combine with each other, a whole organism will be formed. Okay, so here we know that these are the hierarchy of the structural basis of organization. So we have completed this one, right? So that much for today. Thank you.